give me a small minute of your time and I'll show you how with the proper units of focus you can get what you want in your life. I think the best way to start this is to basically give an example of what focus is and how it's missing for most people. So about 2 months ago, after a very long absence, I restarted going to fitness again. That's the proof right now as I'm walking again every morning. And incidentally, another gentleman started the gym at the same time as me, and he also needed to lose a little bit of weight. And well, he did choose to hire a trainer, not questioning the choice. However, what I did notice is his focus was not on actually losing the weight or doing the exercise and the fitness. It was spending that time that he had very eloquently paid with that trainer, mostly chatting with that individual rather than training. And you might say, oh, but you need to do rests between sits, etc. Well, for fun, just now I calculated how much does he actually work out in an hour and how much does he actually chat. And the numbers are pretty self-explanatory. Over the course of 1 hour, 38 minutes was spent chatting. So that's more than half his time is not spent on the actual task that he took upon himself to challenge 2 months ago. And do that for 2 months, well, the difference is pretty stark, right? I've lost 6 kilos and I really can't see a difference on him at all. I can't obviously be the judge of what he's putting in his diet, etc. But from a pure exercising point of view, that's the absence of focus right there. Because he's not measuring what he's doing, he's not attentive to what he's doing, and you might think he's actually doing what he's doing, but he's not. And to many of us, this is what is actually happening. And that's why we always ask ourselves, why am I not getting the results out? Why is it that it's not paying off? Well, focus, you see, comes in pair with another unit, time. Time is the ultimate currency in our lives. We all have 24 hours in a day. I think I've said that in many previous videos. Go check them out if that's of interest to you or not. I really don't care. But ultimately, if you have a project, see your life a bit like a character in an RPG, role-playing game. If you were playing games, which, based on the numbers I've seen, is the most used leisure entertainment in the world. So very unlikely you don't play that. Anyway, that's not the point. We all think we're the main character on the planet Earth. Well, we're 8 billion of us, so there's not 8 billion, main characters. There is no main characters. As a matter of fact, look, this is the first for me. I'm walking around like one of those wannabe influencers. Purposely because I wanted to make this video when I had some free time while I'm going back to the gym, and also to prove to myself that I don't have the main character syndrome, and I'm not really giving a fuck what people say when they see a guy walking holding his phone and talking to his phone. Because yeah, actually nobody's looking at me right now, so you see, nobody gives a fuck. What was I? Yeah, these are not scripted, so I'm doing them live. So when you're taking those, oh man, I lost my train of thought. This is kind of sucky. The main character, focus. Oh, this is gonna lead to some pretty quick fast forward on the video, but fuck it. Yeah. So the focus and time is what you should be really paying attention to. For example, you're the main character. This is what the example I was giving. You have a main quest. We have a main storyline, or you have many things, and then you have all those secondary things, like secondary quests, secondary tasks, etc. Life is full of those, right? And what usually happens is a bit like a Sims character in the Sims video game. The tasks keep piling up, and you don't really focus on one of them. You just try to eliminate as much as possible, and you have some long-lasting ones. Well, your main objective, or your main target, or your main goal in your life, which I don't know, it could be family, it could be fame, it could be money. Yo, welcome to the video, bro. If if you don't put some certain amount of energy and time and focus on this every day, it's not going to move forward on its own. If you just rely on pure luck, well, the odds are not in your favor. I think I read somewhere that, for example, the lottery, which is what most people rely on to try and get rich, is more likely to be an American president than to win the, let's say, Powerball in the US, for example. So if you fancy yourself being a Joe Biden or a Donald Trump, you have better chances at doing that than actually making money through the Powerball. My point being is, if you're working in sales, or if you're doing anything in life, and you want to, let's say, get 20 new clients, get $200,000 in your savings account, finding a girlfriend, getting a six-pack, getting that car, whatever it is that they call financial fucking freedom. I fucking hate this expression. Well, you have to focus on that, and you have to give yourself steps to achieve that. Because until then, it's just a fucking pipe dream. And I'm swearing like a salty sailor this morning. I really apologize. Because I'm sore as hell. But in essence, you need to think not 1 month, not 6 months, not a year, 7 years ahead of you. I mean, I'm not asking you, you shouldn't ask yourself to have exactly everything figured out from the get-go. You know, Zuckerberg didn't figure out Facebook would become what it is today, or Meta. Or, Caesar didn't think of himself as Caesar right away. Poland didn't think he'd conquer the world right away. But he had a general direction of where he wanted to be. He wanted to climb as high as possible. He wanted to become as effective as a military leader as possible. It takes a whole lot degree of focus on where you want to be in the future, right? And it's the same for you. Let's say you want to become the best version of yourself in the firm. But maybe your focus is on, recreational substances, visual materials on the internet. Your focus on the worst. That's right. If you can't get your hands off yourself, if you can't stop drinking, stop smoking for a little bit, because all these things does affect your mood, does affect your performance, does affect everything. Well, how do you plan on improving yourself? You read every day, you learn something new every day, you compare yourself to yourself. You're looking on people are buying $100,000, $200,000 car. And statistically, the probability of people being able to afford such vehicles is quite slim. I'll explain in a later video what that means. The income disparity and why comparing yourself on a materialistic level makes no sense, because, well, comparison is flawed, is fucked up. Yeah. So, but you need to focus on a set number of things. You cannot do 20 things in a row. Like, I'm good enough that if I put my mind into something, I will very likely manage to succeed at it. Oh man, okay, I guess I have to go that way because the park is closed right now. But let's say I wanted to start, judo or taekwondo or sushi making. Write up in the comments if you want me. See me do some sushi. Yo. But there's so much time, so much energy, and so much focus I can put on new projects. Right now, my projects are divided off, and my focus is focused on 3 different areas, and that's it. I've cut down on a lot of different things that used to take a lot of my time, a lot of resources, a lot of energy, including people as well. I'm sure you've seen plenty of times, don't surround yourself with toxic people or negative people, but if you're asking yourself why, well, this is it, because they take a lot of your time. They don't necessarily bring anything to the table, right? So look, I've mentioned IQI so many times before, but you have to look at whatever you do in life with the prism of identifying what you're doing, quantifying what you're doing, and seeing how you can improve it. So, an example of weight loss, if you don't pay attention to what you're eating, if you're not paying attention that you're spending more time chatting with the trainer than actually training, then the outcome is likely to not change, because you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. You're on autopilot. And it's not your fault, or it's not our fault, should I say, as human beings, because we're wired this way. Our limbic system, which is what runs our day-to-day activities about 80% of the time, I think the research says, it's one prerogative, or it's one master criteria is to save energy. This is ultimately what we do. Every action that we take is there to we're calculating always and forever in the back of our brain subconsciously how much is that going to take. So for example, every morning my alarm goes off and I want to go. In the evening I said I'd go train. When I wake up in the morning, my subconscious is like, bro, come on, this is a comfy bed. Why would you want to go off to the gym? Why go through all this physical pain of being sore? Why this, why that, why this, why that? And if I didn't put some things in motion to make sure that I reach that goal by focusing on how to get it achieved, I would just stay in bed. Very simply put, bed is too damn comfy. But first of all, I put my alarm far away from the bed, so if I wanted to switch off, I have to get out of bed. Then I have my gym clothes right next to the bed, so it's a stinky reminder that I'm a failure if I don't put them on. And also, once you're out of bed, you know as much as me that, well, it's very hard to go back to sleep. And additionally, I have a bonus get the fuck out of bed motion sensor, which is my cat. Every time he hears my alarm in the morning, he goes spastic, and voila, I can't go back to sleep. So I might as well just go, because, well, if I stay home, he'll eat my ears out by meowing. I think he's doing his job of keeping me active. Good boy. And that's it. It's very simple steps that make it happen every day. And you know, for you, Ben, if you want to become, those videos are for you as well, watching them till the end, because you're the reason why I started this YouTube channel in the first place. If you want to become the best in your trade right now of what you're doing, I've said it again, I'll say it again, but ultimately, what is the end game? The end game is to provide solutions to problems to your clients. And if you can't figure out what their problems is, what their pain levels are, why your services are required, well, it's always going to be a struggle. But once you understand that, for example, in their case, their pains is paperwork takes a lot of time and energy and money. Time is money, time is focus. When you're a company, you have other things to do than to do paperwork, relocation. These are the angles that you need to be nurturing. And that should be your sole focus at work. Not chatting the pretty secretary, not putting your tongue as far up the place that doesn't shine in your boss's back. You know, not all these things. Become the better version of yourself to become the better version for your clients and your prospects. And then you'll make money hand over fist. That's how I've been doing it for now 15 years. That's how I managed 4-digit growth. That's how I managed to make, you know, all these 9 figures in dollars. Now, in terms of where to do next, have a look very simply where you put your energy one day. You know, write it down, pick a pen and paper, and every time you get distracted or you're doing something else than what you're supposed to do, write it down. And see how much time you actually don't spend on what you're supposed to do, and then multiply that by a week, a year, and years. And if you wonder why life has turned out so differently for so many people, your social circles, well, this is exactly this: focus and time. You know, a good example as well of this is for money. A lot of people, sleepy cats, a lot of people get the money to spend it right away on shit they don't need, money they don't necessarily have, to impress people they don't necessarily like. Stop for a second whenever you get something new and allocate it. As I said in the last week's video, do your accounting, keep track of what you're doing. It's always kind of when you notice things that things start improving. Alright, it's starting to pipe up here. Let me know how it goes. And cheers.